Don't take Townend here, we don't fuck about that.
Okay. I'm here at the world famous Oliver Townsend.
Townend.
Townend, okay.
See this as he goes straight. We see him turning into the bounces. Stretches up.
Beautifully in. Come on. Ollie.
Whoa! I think everybody was holding their breath.
I think they were. He took a stride out coming down there, didn't he? Coming down that bank.
Take two. I'm here at the world famous Oliver Townend, Olympic gold medalist and 5-star rider. I don't know how many, but you've won so many 5-star events, and it's a privilege that you're over in Ireland. We're going to talk about the Antler Challenge 2025. The Antler is both the senior is a 3-mile challenge, and we've got a juniors that are 13 to 16 year olds over a 2-mile course. Ollie has just had a look at the videos and he's heard about it in the past, and we wanted to ask your opinion of what type of horse would you take for the Antler Challenge, which would be a bit like your Golden Button or your Melton or your Silver Spur.
Yeah, well, I've seen the Melton before, and I've obviously seen the videos of the Antler Challenge. For me, the first thing I would want from a type of horse is a good horse. Whatever pedigree he is, obviously he needs to get his trip, so he needs to have stamina in the pedigree. But at the same time, I think a horse that's got plenty of mileage in life, and whatever that mileage might be, he might have show jumped, he might have evented to a level, but just a horse that knows where his feet are and knows exactly what his job is to do when he gets to the fences.
We've had a few people who've come to us, asked us, like, would you take a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old to these type of events? What would your advice to that?
Personally, no. I don't think that they've got enough experience for that, and they've probably not had their heart and lungs stretched or built up over the years like a horse would be ideally. You know, we're looking at this event like almost a top-level 3-day event, like a Badminton or a Burghley. They need to be prepared over a lot of years, and they need to have a big, deep base fitness to their bodies before they go into something like this.
Just the lung question you said there, it takes years to build up a lung capacity. So that's a horse. So when does a horse become, that age where he's ready? Is that 9, 10, 11?
I think 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Again, it depends on the pedigree. Of course, we see national hunt horses winning huge races at 5, 6, 7 years old. So it depends on the type and the pedigree, but for me, the more mileage and the more experience, the more years they've got under them for something like this, the better.
Okay, very good. Preparation for the horse and pony. So we've got both the juniors and the seniors. So what preparation would you advise for the both teams?
Basically, the horses need to be as fit as you can possibly get them. For my 3-day event horses, they obviously work on the flat a lot, they jump a lot. For a blood horse going to a 5-star event, mine gallop every 4 to 5 days. But it's a wide variety of work that they have. You definitely want to have, a good half a season under their belt to prepare for something like this. But again, the more you can get to the gallops, for me, the better. Yeah,
plenty. And then jumping wise as well, there has been people who maybe sometimes overdo the jumping. What type of jumping would you do? Let's say even for Ballymore class coming up to a big event. Would you jump much? Or?
No, he wouldn't jump a huge amount. Basically, we have one jump day a week at home. I jump most of the horses with lads warming up and cooling down. So we try and jump one day a week, and I think before I go to a big event, I probably would only jump them 3 or 4 days before we go off to the big event.
A little pop like. And you're not over jumping as well, is it?
No, just a little exercise, something to sharpen the brain and the front legs up more than anything before we go into those big events. So perhaps a little exercise or a grid or something just to get them switched on.
Yeah, that's perfect, because a lot of people, it's that week up to the challenge. It's not an overly hard week. Is that right? Is it?
No, we wouldn't be giving them their biggest burst of work the week before the big event. We'd kind of already have the fitness in place, and we'd have probably done their main bit of work 2 weeks before, and then just quietly keep them as relaxed as we can, and just some nice tick over work, some nice exercises, and just have them more than anything mentally calm and sharp in the jump.
What about your own fitness, like rider fitness? How important is that?
Yeah, very important. I'm obviously naturally quite big and heavy, and I just think the lighter you are, the better. Obviously, you don't want to be going into it weak or feeble, because you've starved yourself a few days before. But at the same time, I think if you can do something extra, if you can do an hour or half an hour every day on top of whatever you're normally doing in the lead up, it's only going to help. And as much as that as well, it's just a case of diet wise, obviously, having a good diet, having good exercise. And when I'm trying to get really light, I'd never eat after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd be going to bed very early and starting early, so that you're fasting whilst you're sleeping, basically.
I think Davy Russell said that on the Antler day or any big days, he always had his boiled eggs and toast. He made sure, first thing, have a good breakfast before the big day. Yeah,
for sure. And again, everybody has their own routine and their suspicion and their whatever they like to do. I don't think there's a particular right or wrong, but at the same time, you don't want to be having a late night the night before.
And be fresh and ready for it.
Yeah.
Rider mentality on the day. So listen, you've had some massive days, huge pressure. So what advice would you give the juniors and the seniors to maybe steady the nerves or so?
Yeah, I think that especially with the course walks and things like that, you want to get your preparation done early. I don't think on big days that you ever should feel like you're in a rush or running late. That's important to me. And for me, I do my preparation, I do my course walk, and then I'd always have half an hour, maybe sometimes longer, depending on the schedule of the event, that I can go somewhere quiet, have a lay down, go through the course in my head, so I know exactly what my plan A is, and then hopefully, like I'm quite often falling asleep an hour before I go and do it, wake up and then sharpen myself up again. I think the worst thing you can do is be running late or feeling in a rush and everything being sort of a little bit frantic, and I think you're just better to be calm and very clear in your mind.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, just I think again, Davy Russell, fail to prepare to fail was his motto. So on time, have your tack, make sure your tack is looked after, your saddles, things like that. Because I think 1 or 2 of the juniors had issues with their tack last year.
Yeah.
So
again, there's a reason why it's juniors. When we're all juniors, we've all had horrible situations and mistakes happening. So when it does go wrong, don't think that you're the only one that this has ever happened to. It's happened to us all. But at the same time, the more prepared you can be, definitely the better. And the earlier in the week and the days leading up to it you can be prepared, definitely the smoother it'll go.
You're lining up, you're being given 2 minutes before the off. What would you, after watching the Antler, what would be your kind of tactics for it? What would be you thinking?
For me, to start with, I wouldn't be riding it as a race. It's a little bit like going out the start box at Badminton, Burghley, Kentucky. It doesn't matter how fast you are if you're not stood up at the end of it. So You need to jump the fences, so jump every fence as it comes. Take your time. I think getting into a good rhythm is absolutely crucial in any big competition, any competition full stop. So I think get into a good rhythm, try and find space, try and jump the fences. And again, when I'm setting off around Burghley, which is our biggest terrain event, I'm always setting off on the horse that I don't know, or that I don't know how he'll cope with the distance. I'm always thinking save.
Yeah.
Of course, you're trying to be quick, but I'm trying to give him as level a ride as possible, so I don't ask for any of those big jumps early on.
So you're sitting quietly when you're not looking for big strides. You're just sitting quietly.
Sitting quietly and just trying to pop away, and that's pop away at speed. It's not show jumping. But at the same time, I'm not going to try and see those big distances and take any excess energy out of him too early on. Just save, wait for the field to thin out, which inevitably it will do, and then see what you've got left in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Because there is a water crossing. Some horses haven't always seen water. Like, was any particular schooling, let's say for Badminton or Burghley, when you're jumping into water or out of water?
Oh, by the time they get to Badminton or Burghley, they've done it week in, week out for probably the best part of 5 years. So they know exactly what they're doing. But obviously every horse is different. So if you know there's a weakness with water or with a ditch, then it does no harm to give them a school the beginning of the week before they go. Nothing too heavy, but just to have them confident and have them knowing that when you say go, they go.
They go, yeah. So it's basically over the first, nice and steady, just get into a rhythm and,
jump the fences.
Jump each fence, yeah.
Yes.
What horse, like you've had so many superstar horses, if you were doing the Antler, these Golden Buttons or Meltons, which one would you bring?
I think probably a horse I had off Andrew Nicholson when he was in his prime, Armada, because he had such a huge length of stride that by the time everybody had done 3 strides, he'd only do one and a half.
Was he a chestnut, was he?
He was a chestnut, yeah. He was fairly wild, so I'd have to set him off in front, otherwise he'd expend too much energy trying to chase the others. But I'd pop him out in front and hopefully do exactly what you did last year.
Very good, very good. Last thing, we do have some spaces left for some elite riders. Would you take up the challenge?
Not a chance. I don't think it would be a good idea ringing my owners, telling them that I can't go to Kentucky this year because I broke my leg.
But maybe in the future.
One day, yeah. Hopefully, I hope to retire at some point, and hopefully I've got a couple more years left of doing something mad.
It was super. Well, listen, thank you very much for your time, and best of luck in the whole season coming forward. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Good
Cheers.
luck.
Dark box are next to go. And this is the one we've been waiting for. It is Oliver Townend for Great Britain, Ballamore class. 3-time 5-star winner. He's got 8 5-star wins under his belt already. He's finished 3rd here twice. 2nd here back in 2021. He'd dearly love to break the duck's back and get a win. Thomas, as he's known, 17 years old, 2nd after dressage on 28.5. Interestingly that these two are following each other in Tammy Smith and Oliver Townend. It's going to be a really, really exciting next 12 to 14 minutes. By Courage, the 2nd, Kildare Place, the Dam, bred by Noel Hickey, Karen Shooter, Angela Hislop and Val Ryan own. And he's had an amazing career with this horse. The 3 5-star wins along with that team class. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, he'll have to go on the 4. 1, 2, 3, he'll have to go on the 4 again. Just didn't... I don't think he reacted how Oliver thought he would going to that fence. There's a lot to look at. They're jumping straight into the VIP area. Thomas is, of course, hugely experienced. He's won 3 5s. He's been an Olympic gold medalist, although it was a very quiet 5-star. Sadly, doesn't bow out as she would have wanted. Ballamore class.
Just getting so deep and so tight here. It's really interesting. you know, we kind of saw the same thing happen with Harry's horse, looking fabulous at the beginning of the track, and then just that pull up the hill, just getting to them a little bit. And you could see my bomb coming around the turn and just not recovering the way that we would have hoped. And Tammy felt that and gave it one crack and then said, you know, this is not where we're not gonna try this again. And ultimate professional, just like Harry, put the hand up.
And as you've said, you know, between 9 and 10 minutes are the biggest pulls. And this is when the horses are starting to get tired, but there's not really any recovery space. After they've climbed the hills, there's the fence. The same as we saw in the 3-star for the horses going to the Mars Sustainability Bay. This is Oliver Townend coming to the second water.
And this just riding perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, there was so much concern about that. And I asked Ian what he thought about it. And I said, has that ever been done before? And he said, yeah. Did you talk to Lucinda? We had a few of those back in my day, in her day.
That's so funny.
All right, then. But Oliver won't have known that Tammy has had those problems, so he is not going to take the foot off the throttle. He's going to make sure he comes home with as few penalties as possible. Searching for
5 is the leading score. That's David Dole, clear inside the time. He was 24 seconds. Interestingly, coming to these massive fences, which are the big, very, very large barricades, and then the corner.
Wow.
Thomas is on flying form, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ballamore Class has got his A game on, and so has Mr. Townend.
You know, same thing happened a little bit for him at those boxes as Tammy. I think you saw him plan to reel it in, do the 4 strides there, because the 3 is really shooting people off.
Yeah.
And he waited and then still ended up on the 4 on the way out. But really committed, jumped through those lines. And like David Doyle had said, it's not always pretty, but the horses are staying on it and understanding.
But this is where the climb starts. This is at the bottom of the hill. Now we're going from minute 9 to minute 10 up to those corners. Then they turn away and continue to climb up to the Mars Sustainability Bay right at the top of the hill. And they're still climbing here. They make a slight right and a slight left turn. Still climbing.
You know, and that's where you wonder if the word's getting back a little bit, if a little later on when we see some horses that are maybe less experienced, if we'll see them go ahead and take the option and not even attempt that first corner. Let the horses nip through those 3 combinations there, catch their breath.
Clear's got a lot to
Clear's
say,
got a lot
hasn't it?
to say. Absolutely.
I mean, Ballamore Class, he is one of the best cross-country horses in the world.
He looks great right now.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
And Oliver will have got him very fit. The team at home will have got him very fit as well. But Oliver, great judge of character, and he gets on with his horse very well. I think he'll probably jump the first one. He's never one to go the long routes, Ollie. Will he jump the first one and then... I think he's going to go long. Yeah.
It's not that much time.
No, it's not, and it's safer. I was going to say he'll jump the first and go long. I don't know whether that was his first plan, probably not, but the way Thomas jumped it was unexpected. It was a little bit uncharacteristic, the way that he did jump that fence. Discretion, better part of valor, go long.
Absolutely. And the horse looks good. You know, he's we talked about it earlier, coming up this climb, you're not going to push on the horses. You're not going to charge up the hill. You're going to let them find their own balance, let them get up the hill, jump the Sustainability Bay at the top, then catch their breath coming back down in that 10th minute. Comes up to the top. Look at the crowds are really running over to see this as he goes straight. We see him turning into the bounces. Stretches up.
Beautifully in. Come on. Ollie. Whoa.
Whoa! I think everybody was holding their breath.
I think they were. He took a stride out coming down there, didn't he? Coming down that bank.
I think he did the 2 to the 1, but he was quite at the end of his rein there. Pretty impressive, and that shows the experience, right? I mean, these horses know the job. At this point in time, this horse knows he's meant to go in between those 2 flags. He trusts his rider, right? And at that point, Ollie really had no point other than to trust his horse because he was at the end of the rein.
Come on, Tom. Look at this ditch. Look at that ditch.
That's an awesome shot.
Massive. That is the best shot we've seen of that fence. Ballamore Class is looking like he has plenty left in the tank, doesn't he? As he comes up the hill now to what is the big combination, the Fairhill International roller coaster and drop. Slowing them down again, Scotty, isn't he? As they make the turn to the roller coaster, then the Fairhill step down to drop. 2 fences at the bottom. Gets very close to first. Ollie then sits quietly and waits for the cheese wedge.
I don't think he has enough time to get home on the clock. I think it's going to be a matter now of how many time penalties.
Yeah, he's got 43 seconds to get home from here. He's got this fence. He's got the 2 owl holes. Unlike the 3-star, you keep moving a little bit further and a little bit more, but he's only got 30 seconds. He's just given Ballamore Class a little tap down the shoulder saying, come on mate, dig deeper for me. We were talking about that earlier, you know, at the 3-star level, knowing what you've got, how deep will they dig, how much will they get into the reserve tank. 13 seconds, 12 seconds. It's going to be a few time penalties. It's not going to be many for Oliver Townend for Great Britain as he pops through these very, very narrow little owl holes.
So creeping up, it's just a matter, can he stay ahead of David Doyle?